Hello students, welcome to Legacy IAS Academy. In today's video, we are going to discuss about the recent move of China where it has restricted the export of certain rare earth minerals from China to the western countries such as US and its allies, and how this decision of the China should be a lesson for India as far as its critical mineral exploration and discovery plan is concerned. So first of all, to give you the background of this particular topic, recently the Chinese Ministry of Commerce, it has expanded its export control list. Export control list means which of the elements, which of the minerals can be exported and cannot be exported to a certain countries. And there now it has included 28 entities from the United States. Effectively, these entities, which are largely companies and organizations, they are now restricted from exporting or having access to a swath of items which has been classified and recategorized by China as dual use export controls. And there many minerals and the rare and refined materials which are vital for the high technology applications in the area of information technology, semiconductor, artificial intelligence, electronics and electrical areas will be banned, or export will be banned from China. So Beijing's list today encompasses many elements such as tungsten, which is used for example, in earlier time it was used for the in the incandescent light bulbs, gallium, magnesium, beryllium, hafnium, and several other different kind of elements which is used for the chip production and to also in the production of speciality alloy. For example, we can take a look at the some of these elements such as gallium. Now, gallium is used in semiconductors, LEDs and lighting, solar panels. A very large area of we can say solar energy generation is the construction of solar panels, so that will be impacted. High frequency electronics, cooling systems and all that. And similarly in such kind of areas, the different band elements are being or were being used. And here we can try to understand how significant is the decision of China, because China largely enjoys a monopoly as far as the global reserves of the rare earth reserves are concerned, metals are concerned, or even in the terms of production. For example, if you look at in terms of millions of ton, China has a reserve of 44 million tons. At the second number, then you have the Brazil, then Vietnam and Russia. But if you try to understand the overall the production actually that is taking place today in the world, again China enjoys more than 60% of the share. So that is what influences the overall demand and supply and availability in the market. Now if we try to understand the Chinese approach, it is not something which we can refer as a knee-jerk reaction. Rather, experts argue it is very calculative approach and it is more of a strategic in the nature, because it is not for the first time China has taken such a stance. It has also previously targeted such kind of minerals that were deemed to be critical by Western nations and their allies as a way of putting pressure to get away or get with its way. And on the other hand, the why we are calling it as a calculated and strategic approach, because despite putting a ban on the export of metals and minerals, China always has ensured and has been constrained by two additional factors. First of all, it has avoided controlling those minerals which are heavily dependent on the Western raw material imports. And second, at the same time, it also has refrained from taking actions that could disrupt its domestic industrial enterprises or export dependent sector. So obviously, China have kept in mind that this decision or such kind of decisions should not impact the domestic economy of China. And that is why we are calling it a very calculated and strategic approach. Now, if we try to look at the situation in India and why we should be concerned about, is because the competition for the critical minerals has become a fulcrum of international economic diplomacy, and India will lose its what you can say its power if it does not focus enough on the exploration of critical minerals or collaborating with the collaborating with the private enterprises to ensure that the overall supply of such minerals are ensured to the critical sectors of the India. So if you look at the events, these should be an example or type of a wake-up call to improve the domestic mineral exploration and production capacity. Now, unfortunately, India's push for the critical mineral development has faced stubborn challenges, and these challenges are numerous in nature. For example, even despite the discovery of lithium reserves last year that we have found in the Recast region of the Jammu and Kashmir, till now we have not seen any company showing any kind of interest for the bidding of these resources. So obviously resources are there, but we cannot utilize it, we cannot use it unless and until we extract it, we refine it, and then we put it in the industries. So for that we require again the companies, either public sector or private sector, but no interest has been shown here. Second, government data also shows that it is not only true, or it is not only the stand-alone case of this lithium reserves only. This is generally a universal truth that India has to face it, or universal problem that India has to face with. For example, if you look at the Ministry of Mines and its data, it states that only 48%, that is 24 out of 49 of the mineral blocks available for auction in recent years have been auctioned. For remaining almost 52% of the mineral blocks, either the private players or the public players have not shown any kind of interest. And it is not only because due to the government negligence or the problem on the part of government, because government obviously has taken a lot of steps in last few years to give a kick to the critical mineral sector of India. And in this regard, it has brought Mines and Minerals Development and Regulation Amendment Act in 2023. And under this, it has taken a lot of measures to spur activity such as the discovery and exploration in the critical mineral sector. However, what we have seen is, for example, if you look at the steps that has been taken by the government in these areas, so it has identified 30 such critical minerals which are essential for the national security, where they are first of all trying to put the emphasis upon and all their resources. Second, it also has established Khanij Videsh India Limited, or as I call it KABIL, to obtain overseas investment in critical minerals such as lithium and cobalt. So if we know that India does not have a huge domestic reserves of the critical minerals, so in that case also we can go and we can explore and obtain licenses of critical mineral from outside of India. And that is something we also have done in the case of oil and gas. For example, the ONGC Videsh Limited, arm or subsidiary of ONGC India Limited, it has taken a partnership with Russia and Rosneft and Gazprom, and it is discovering and it is extracting gas from the Siberian region. Similar thing it had done in the coast of, or along the coast of Vietnam as well. So somewhere along the same line, this organization is also going to function and work. Plus, already I have discussed, MMDR Amendment Act has been brought in government by the government in year 2023. So this has caused a lifting up of restrictive classification of many minerals which were type of rare earth element. Earlier they were classified as atomic minerals, and when the mineral is classified as atomic mineral, there is a restriction in the participation and involvement of the private sector. So from many such minerals, such classification has been lifted, restriction has been lifted to open the door for greater private participation, private sector investment, as well as the sharing of technology. So these are some good efforts that government has put in the recent time, waking up to the challenges at the global scale in the area of critical minerals and its growing importance in the technology driven area of today, specifically when India is a partner of Indian Solar Alliance, and solar energy sector to a large extent depend on the critical minerals. So amendment to the MMDR Act we have discussed, extension of mine area has been done, plus monetization of critical mineral has been done, overseas acquisition of assets and all that has been done. And with this, government overall, through a period of time, we can see it has increased the overall production value. It was 132,747,000 crore in 2022. Then it slightly was brought down, and then again in the fiscal year 2024, the overall mineral production value rose slightly to 1,40,169 crores. So again in the year 2025, we believe that this number can further see an uptick. However, despite these promising reforms, what we can see is nothing but a tepid result. Only a handful of exploration licenses for critical minerals such as lithium or rare earth elements and graphite have been cleared, and those mostly went to the Indian public sector firms. Also, we talk about the foreign participation in this area or in this sector is very sparse even after the liberalization of the FDI norms, and also the mining license auctions for critical minerals have largely stalled, and it is these roadblocks that is what you can say restricting India's overall emphasis and push to the critical mineral resources. Now, the reason behind this, experts argue, also has to do with how India classify its resource system, because many experts argue that this system today is outdated, and the companies, whether it is a public companies, private companies or foreign companies, they are not very sure because of this classification about the commercial viability of mineral blocks. And maybe it is because of this unsurety, they are not very much interested in the auctioning process. To understand the geological method of classification of minerals that is used universally is G1, G2, G3 and G4. G1 refer to detailed exploration has been done, G2 refer to general exploration, G3 refer to prospecting, G4 refer to reconnaissance. On the other hand, in case of India, we use the methods systems such as developed, proved, probable and possible. But it is more of a subjective method of classification that does not give lot of confidence to the prospective, we can say, investor to understand whether he or his company will be able to garner or generate some profit or not. So exploration level we talk about require progressively detailed geological data on ore grade and quantity that also many times is missing from the study and research conducted by the Indian companies. So many auction blocks in India have yet to reach advanced exploration stages, making them riskier to the prospective bidders. Maybe that is the case why foreign and private participation is very, very minimal in this area. Plus low demand for exploration licenses themselves. It is something that should in principle help de-risk investment but evidently has not had the intended effect. So it is these problems that are something that the government of India and its ministries and its officials should be working upon. Now, one solution can be the fiscal incentive, something that India has adopted in the sector of semiconductor and semiconductor fabrication. For example, a larger upfront fiscal incentive during the exploration phase itself could overall amplify the we can say the overall interest of the private sector in the critical mineral area. For example, in semiconductor fabrication project, government has placed a direct upfront capital support early in the construction phase itself. So it will help in offsetting of immediate exploration cost instead of reimbursing them only after the production begins. So in this way, the companies that are investing, they will be sure that the exploration cost anyway is being reimbursed by the government. So the risk is less and that can increase and ramp up the overall participation. Now, it will also resolve a market failure and help unlock value many times over in the downstream mining, exploration, sales and export. So in the beginning, it seems like erroneous decision, but its advantage is something that India can reap in the future ahead. So that is something that we can portray as a solution. So anyway, that is all about this particular video. I hope you got the gist that why India cannot be sitting back now. It has to take a front stage as far as the dependency and the use of critical minerals are concerned. Thank you very much.